All right, welcome to the next module. Let's talk about the Facebook chat method 2.0. Okay, we're going to talk about taking your Facebook conversations to the next level with some simple tips. So what exactly is the Facebook chat method and why is there a 2.0 version? Well, the reason I chose this title is because Facebook is constantly changing and your business needs to change and adapt with it, right? The same strategies that worked last year are not working this year. You got to just keep changing and keep adapting. My goal in this video lesson is going to be to share some strategies with you to help increase your effectiveness with Facebook chat. Now, first off, I hope you watched my module on bridge marketing. This is essential for you to be successful when it comes to Facebook chat. If you haven't watched that yet, you should stop this video right now and go watch that one. All right, with that being said, let's dive right into it. Now, this method is fairly self-explanatory. You send messages to your potential prospects using Facebook Messenger, right? Super simple, but yet there's still some tips to help you out. The goal of these daily conversations is going to be to generate more leads and more sales. Now, there's mainly two types of people you're going to be connecting with. You got people who are your friends, and you got people who are non-friends. Sounds simple, right? Well, with existing friends, your conversations can happen in real time. Okay, with non-friends, your conversations are more like back and forth Facebook emails. Both ways are effective, but the more prospects you can have as friends, the better. And that's why I set a goal of getting 5,000 quality friends on Facebook early on. Why? Because it gave me the ability to convert sales in real time. For instance, if I want to push for a sales contest and hit it by a deadline, or maybe I want to meet the end of month goals in a company, whatever the need may be at any given time, I have tons of prospects that are online and I can instantly start up a conversation with them. This can be highly effective. Now, I've had great results with non-friends as well. So clearly both methods work. One is simply faster than the other, right? So what I've done here is I put together 10 Facebook chat tips. My goal is to help you improve those conversations so you can create more traffic, capture more leads, and convert more sales. So let's just jump right into these 10 tips. Facebook chat tip number 1, staying focused. I can't tell you how many times I watch people get on Facebook chat and they don't have a clear game plan. It's easy to waste time on Facebook. You do not want to do this. I'll get on Facebook chat and I'll know exactly what I want to do. I'll get on there, I'll start finding out who's online, I'll start doing my messages, I'll go and I'll reply to those messages. I'll spend about 30 minutes a day doing this, usually not much more. That's what I call staying focused, and that's how you stay in the game with income producing activities. Now, Facebook chat tip number 2, turning on and off chat. Another thing I do is I always have my chat off. Now you might be asking, well, why? If I'm chatting so much, why? I turn it off. And the reason is because I don't want to be distracted while I'm in the middle of doing an income producing activity with a random chat conversation. So I usually turn mine off and then I turn it on when I know I have 30 to 60 minutes that I'm going to dedicate to chat. And then I'll go ahead and turn it off after that. It's a pretty interesting thing. Now look, even when it's off, you're still going to get notifications in your messenger. So if you see a little notification pop up and you click on it, you can simply turn your chat right back on and you can go back into instant chat mode with that person. So it's very, very simple. Facebook chat tip number 3, research your prospects. Now this is where most people go wrong. Instead of just chatting with somebody going, hey, you look like a sharp guy, what you want to do is you want to click on their profile and go to their about section and see if they have a website. See, if they got a website, maybe they have a blog or a website, instantly in a matter of 10 seconds, you can learn a ton of information about your prospect. Then when you start up a message about them, make it about their website. Make it about something that they're into, right? I already taught you some bridge marketing, but make it about something they're into based on their website. Now that brings me to Facebook chat tip number 4, use bridge marketing. Okay, I've taught you this. Use bridge marketing. It's super effective. You've got to look at this as a gap. You cannot use the shotgun approach where you just blast your message out to people. Oh, click this link, make money, make money. Nothing like that. You've got to use bridge marketing. What you want to do is you want to look at their profile or maybe their website and look at what desired result you want them to take, and you got to try to come up with a bridge. What is that bridge? And think about those that bridge marketing module. Think about some of those pitches. When they ask, what do you do? Think about how to tailor it to fit their needs. Facebook chat tip number 5, effective icebreakers. Now, the way to be effective with an icebreaker is to make it about them, not about you. Instead of shotgunning your stuff on them, why not ask them a question or compliment them on something, or maybe bring something up about their website or about a common interest that you might have. For instance, I like to golf. So if I notice somebody else golfs in their profile, that's definitely going to be an effective icebreaker that I'm going to be bringing up in that conversation. Facebook chat tip number 6, answering questions. Now, you're going to get questions, okay? All the time you're going to get questions. What I love about Facebook chat, it's not like a live phone conversation. You see, in a phone conversation, you have to answer that question on the spot. If they ask you something and you don't know the answer, then you're stuck. But when you're online, what I love about it is that you don't have to respond instantly. When somebody asks you a question, you know what? Take a moment and think about it. In fact, maybe do a little bit of research. Heck, take 5 minutes if you need to. Whatever the case may be, you have time to carefully craft your answers. Now, I'm not saying you should spend all day on this. I'm just saying there's no need to rush your answers if you don't know. So take a minute, get the information, formulate it, and answer that question. That's how simple it is. Now, Facebook chat tip number 7, overcoming objections. Okay, so what you got to do is this. This is my technique. I overcome objections before they ever come up. If people ask me all the time, hey Chris, I get objections. How is it that you don't get objections? Simple. When you get objections all the time, there's something happening in your pitch that's bringing on objections. What you want to do is you want to overcome them in advance. So if you're giving people links and they're not clicking on it, something is an objection. You got to find out what it is, and you got to overcome that before giving them your link. Or if you're telling them about your company and suddenly they're losing interest or they have an objection, what you want to do is you want to bring that up in advance prior to them bringing it up to you. As long as you stay in control in the lead by overcoming objections before the objections are brought to you, you're going to have a lot more success with your Facebook chats. All right, Facebook chat tip number 8, multiple conversations. Now here's another one. I never have just one conversation at a time. When I sit down to have to do my Facebook chat method, I'll usually sit down and bring up at least 10 and sometimes 20 tabs at a time. It sounds crazy, right? But the reason I do this is because sometimes people don't respond right away. If you just have open one conversation, you might start it and you might be sitting there waiting for them to respond. In fact, it might even look like they're typing. You might see a little thing that shows that they're typing in the background, but it might be minutes, several minutes before they respond. Those are lost minutes. That's lost time. I like to be effective. So what I'll do is I'll start multiple conversations, and then I'll go back and forth and I'll look at somebody's last response, and then I'll continue the conversation with them. That has been very, very effective. And I've got to a point where I can get 20 to 30 going at a time. And that means inside of 30 minutes, I can have 30 to 50 quality conversations and be able to oftentimes even recruit 5 or 10 people into a business or sell 5 or 10 people on a product in a single night. And that's how I've been able to dominate sometimes in company contests and been able to sell a lot in a very limited amount of time. Now, Facebook chat tip number 9, converting chats to sales. At some point, you got to stop chatting. At some point, you got to start converting. So when your person you're chatting with, when they start basically asking buying questions or showing a lot of interest in whatever it is that you're talking about, you're going to need to learn to move that to a sales pitch. You're going to need to learn to move that to business. And what you got to do is you just got to put on your big boy pants and your big girl pants, and you just got to get to it, and you can't be afraid of rejection. See, the only reason you're not getting to the sale is because you're afraid of rejection. You just can't be afraid of rejection. You got to just tell people, look, you know, I've shared a lot with you, and you know what? Look, is there anything stopping you from taking action today? Right? You got to start asking them questions like that. Look, what would it take for you to take action today? Say, look, based on what I've shown you, do you have any objections? Is there any obstacles to us partnering up and doing business together? Right? You got to be asking questions like leading and converting those chats to sales. Okay, Facebook chat tip number 10, improve your typing speed. Now, this one might sound funny, but I'll tell you right now, I'm about 5 times more effective with my Facebook chatting than I ever was, simply because I spent a little bit of time each day with a little typing program where I'd improve my speed. I would even play little typing games. There's a game called Typing Maniac on Facebook. I would play that for about 20 minutes every single day. It's fun. I played a game and I learned how to type. My typing speed literally tripled and quadrupled. And that allowed me to be able to be far more effective with this method. So if you plan on reaching out and chatting with people, it's definitely not a joke. It's worth improving your typing speed. All right, so these tips have greatly helped me over the years, and I hope that you've gained a lot from this video training. Now let's take it up a notch with our next training, where we talk about building massive Facebook fan pages.